Knott's Berry Farm is my second home park, and is in top 3 that can nearly rival that of Magic Mountain. However, I find myself coming here maybe 3 times per year compared to my frequent visits to Magic Mountain. Knott's only 20 minutes farther from my house and has all that western charm, so why don't I come more often? The way this park is run is a disaster. It's a horror show. I will give a specific rant about Sunday, June 5th, but this applies to every day at Knott's, it seems. The park is so poorly run and the operations are just terrible. Guys, Ghost Ride is elite, but honestly, Knott's is probably one of the weakest parks in the state just because of how this place is run. In today's video, I'm going to take a deep dive into the complete management breakdown of Knott's Berry Farm and what can be done about it. I know this is a negative video in advance, but I need to blow off some steam. If you want to see less angry videos, check out some of my other content, and please consider subscribing. Let's dive in. Knott's Berry Farm has an undeniably great coaster lineup. Ghost Rider, Accelerator, and Hang Time are all fantastic, but the operations ruin everything. The ride that always gets brought up when talking about bad operations is Ghost Rider, and yes, it does. But this includes Accelerator and the family coasters. Hang Time and Silverville are decent, but still suffer from the same problems as Ghost Rider from a management perspective. Let's talk about Ghost Rider. The ride operators, on not just June 5th, but every single time, are some of the most incompetent and ineffective people I've seen in my entire life. Ghost Rider is two 24-person trains, which should lead to decent capacity, but it doesn't. The ride consistently has over 2.5-hour wait every single time I've been to the park. That could just mean it's a fantastic ride, which it is, but based on the amount of people in front of you, it shouldn't take nearly that long at all. If Ghost Rider was at Magic Mountain, they'd be pumping out trains like how they do on Twisted Colossus. While I was at the park, I did some basic math. I calculated there were about 160 people ahead of me in line, which is not too bad. Ghost Rider is 24 people per train, and let's say worst comes to worst, they're dispatching a train every 3 minutes or so. The line should have taken about 22.5 minutes. It took over 2 hours. That means the dispatches consistently neared the 10-minute mark. What an absolute disaster. This is a GCI, not a Flying Dutchman, and once I made it to the second floor and saw how the crew are operating the ride, it all made sense. Let's start at the bottom of the queue. Right before the stairs, there's a lady stopping us from going up to the station. This can be fairly common practice, as seen on Twisted Colossus at Magic Mountain. It is effective at preventing line jumping and can speed up operations. However, because the employee was downstairs, they cannot see the station. It was like throwing darts, and at one point I saw a train dispatch half empty, and someone from the station had to come down and tell the employee to let more people into the station. Keep in mind, this is during a 2.5-hour line. We finally made it to the station, and it's terrible. First, there was an operator assigning rows, which I guess is fine. I don't like it, but whatever. The problem is the same operator assigning rows is also dealing with people who have a paper disability pass. He has to sign the paper and stamp it and tell them when to come back and do all sorts of things with it. On a side note, nowadays I see a ton of people who are clearly not disabled taking advantage of the disability pass. While it might be faster, just don't. Real people with actual disabilities need those passes, and makes the line move slower for everyone. Anyway, this guy assigning rows and stamping passes is really slow, but it's not his fault. Knott's needs someone to do the fast lane/disability line, and then another person doing the regular line. At one point, I timed a 15-minute dispatch when I had to measure 2 kids and sign like 5 disability passes. This is absolutely crazy. Cedar Fair should be ashamed. Not to mention that the operators check the seatbelt first and then the lap bar, which also slows down the process even more. Ghost Rider is a great ride, but the management is so bad. There is literally an employee standing around the station waiting for exit pass people, not doing anything. Maybe he could have helped assigning rows or something. Come on, Knott's. These horrible operations make a great coaster collection hard to enjoy. Also, I'm going to dig Cedar Fair directly here. All the rides they add to Knott's have horrible capacity. Hang Time, Accelerator, are you serious? This is your most intended park and it's already landlocked. Every time I come, it's like shoulder to shoulder in the midway and just ruins the park. On a serious note, Cedar Fair needs to do something about Knott's before people start realizing that Magic Mountain and Disney are far better options and quit coming to Knott's. A Giga or even a Mini Hyper would be high capacity and it's desperately needed. That's all for this rant of a video. I know it was pretty negative, My experience at Knott's was pretty negative, so it works out well. Oh well. Tell me what experience you guys had with the operations at Knott's, and as always, thanks for watching, and please consider subscribing. I really appreciate you guys clicking on this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.